Well, that was the most specific fight that we had in the session this year. When the budget came out of appropriations, the medical school was not funded. I actually drafted the amendment to fully fund higher ed. Got Bubba Cheney from Monroe to actually offer the amendment on the floor to fund the medical school here. The reason we did that is we didn't want to make it all about Shreveport. We brought in the Monroe delegation. We got all of North Louisiana. We all either went to the floor or worked the floor really hard, presented a united front, and passed it by 5 votes. That was the scariest thing to me. We had a representative from as far north as Alexandria go to the floor and say, we really don't need a medical school in Shreveport. This money could be better spent other places. Now, they didn't say what other places, but that's something that is kind of an answer that dovetails back into the other one. We've absolutely got to make sure that money stays there, that this school facility stays open. We did present a united front across North Louisiana last year. And again, that was we had to actually make a deal with some high schools in West Baton Rouge Parish. We had to, there were some high schools in West Baton Rouge Parish that had been taken over by the Recovery School District and been messed up. So we had to make a deal to rebuild some of these schools in West Baton Rouge Parish to get the 5 votes we needed to fully fund the medical school. It shouldn't be that close, and funding for something as important as LSU Medical School should not depend on a deal made to fix a high school in West Baton Rouge Parish. That was offensive to me. It was necessary under the circumstances. It was something that we had to do. But when you're passing something that important by 5 votes, it's scary, and it really got our attention. We all knew there was going to be opposition. And I'm not really sure if the opposition was, we don't want the school in Shreveport, or we want to spend the money somewhere else on some other area. I'm not really sure, and it might have been a multitude of reasons why people were opposed to it. But it was the scariest thing to me this past session was how close we came to not funding LSU Medical School. Thankfully, we were able to provide full funding for it. I think this year, again, assuming no mid-year, end-of-the-year cuts, we should be okay this year. But it's the same answer to the first two. Until we can undedicate everything else, it's going to be an absolute struggle every year. Now, I've been on appropriations the last 3 years. We have tried to get the medical school to have a specific line item in the budget as opposed to just being funded through the LSU system. We have not been able to get there. We came relatively close last year, but we didn't do it on the floor, but we tried to do it in committee. We came relatively close. If we can get that as a specific line item in the budget every year, it kind of gives it a little more credibility when you're redoing the budget next year, because if there's a specific line item, very rarely do they zero out something that got funding the year before. But as it is right now, it's funded through the LSU system, which leaves us at the mercy of the LSU system heads, and that's not a comfortable position to be in. So it's one of those that's very important to me. I think it has to be, if not the top priority for the area, one of the top 3. And we came way too close to losing it this year.